Good morning. That's good. It's fast. Type very fast. How much percentage is battery on now?
It's on like
25? Okay, that's good. No.
What's in this hack encoded? Time of data set. Please run setup program.
Supposed to start, but the other people not here.
This is what, like, how come I don't know what I was doing? It's not so this is what I want to do at home. Almost 200 on my just like a guy asked close to hours. That was not even real in real life. I'm not even big to you. But I have to say,
You sitting back long way, sure? You sitting back long way, sitting here. Sitting right there? Okay, I think your bag's still there. And your charger? Pick up the charger there. And the charger, let's pick up the charger. Yeah, that's it. Plug it out more. Morning.
Exactly. It's just
You plug out the charger. Alright guys, questions. You were very quiet the first few days, eh? And now can you imagine you more talkative than Sebastian? And so question is who's talking to person. Sebastian, ready? Right, get your computer. We are about to start, guys. All right. All right, guys. So tomato. All right. So last session we looked at a few things, right, guys? And I'm just gonna put them back on the board, right? And we're gonna take a look at the code again, right? So that you all could imagine what we're gonna be doing next. All right? Now, you all at least have to code one game for yourself. All right, so you're gonna choose. It's gonna be on the board. All right, you're gonna choose which one you're in favor of, right? So we're gonna start with the smiley face that we did, right? Because you all knew this is exactly where we started from. Right, so everybody master doing that, right? That's like the first step, right? And then it's drawing the 3D box, which is much harder. Right? You all recall how difficult it was to draw this box, right? And then it was the tomatoes. That is TikTok, indeed. Let's see what I did with the tomatoes. Wait, there was the mouse race before the tomatoes. Right? Well, it's actually called the rabbit race. Alright, guys? It's the rabbit race. Right. Then you all did the tomato exercise to buy the tomato, right? You all recall? And then, right? We're gonna be showing the tic-tac-toe today. Alright, we're gonna be showing the tic-tac-toe today. Now, who knows how to play this game anymore? Right. So, we're gonna play just for a bit, right? You versus who? Alright, okay. So you're gonna go first, right? You're gonna tell me where to put the first. Right where I'm also right there. Alright. Sure, you want to? Yeah? Alright.
In that corner there.
Yeah?
Yeah. Up there, in that corner.
This corner here?
Yeah. I went but in the middle one.
This one here?
No. Yeah. And then look up there at the top. At the top.
Right here?
See?
Alright, so you win, right? Alright, so you all get the idea, right? Of how TikTok is played, right? Tic-tac-toe, right? So, guys, from the coding that you all did yesterday, right? This is a step up, alright? This is a step up, okay? So, I want to be showing you guys what the code for this game looks like, right? Let's see if we can do that. And see if you guys can replicate what we have, right? Let's see. All right, voila. All right, that's the code, right? This for someone who's spelled TAC? Yeah. All right, tic-tac-toe. All right, so we can update that. All right, so I'm going to update that and we're going to redo the page and it should say TAC, right? All right, so this is the code here, guys. So you'll remember this. You'll remember the starting point. The starting point is where it says program code goes here. All right, that's the starting point. All right, and you're gonna be coding this for yourself today, so that you'll get an idea of, what sort of thoughts you need to do game development for yourself. First generation games that we enjoyed on cell phones and on computers were called Java games. This is why, because it's JavaScript language, right, that was able to provide all the animations on the screen, right, and allowed us to interact with it, right? That's how the game was an interactive game. All right, guys. So today we're gonna be starting what we have here, right? And you're gonna be following so that you can play on your computer. All right? Anyone ready? Everybody ready? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get the starting point. We're gonna get the starting point ready. All right? So you all have the tomatoes from last session, right? So anybody could just open up the tomatoes. Open up the tomatoes, right? You all open up the tomatoes game?
Yeah.
All right, so when you open the buy tomatoes, right? What we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be copying bits and pieces from this one here in order to make what we have there, right? So this one I'm gonna move it across here, this screen, right? So that you guys can see this one, right? So you have it on the next up. It's called first sketch. Save it. Alright, so I'm walking around to make sure that everybody is on point. Can you see this?
So
you see one here. Right? Alright, everybody got coming around? That's exactly what Christian said. You're working on too much. You don't break the code to be. Right. Try and stay on this, right? baseline, chair, one. This is where you need to be, right? Alright, so everybody, right, you are where you need to be. Alright? So I'm going to show you what we're doing next, right? Guys? I'm going to show you what we need to be doing next. Right? Alright, so here, scroll down to where it says program code goes here, right? Alright, and we come down here to this point, including this point. Right? So guys, I'm going to teach you all a quick way to do it. So you put in your cursor right where you want to start the degree, right? You hold in the shift key, hold the shift button, right? And then press in the up arrow, and you're going to start to highlight like that. And we're going all the way up, right? Right to the part where it says program code goes here. We don't want to delete that. Right? So everything below that is what we deleted. You see it? Hold the shift key and then press the up button. Right? Hold the shift key and then press the up button.
That's what she said.
Alright. Alright, so everybody's supposed to be here on the screen with me, right? Correct? I'm not even seeing it in TikTok.
Which part of that sentence did you know about? Wow. I mean, you see what why is it? I know.
Hi guys, so guys, 400 by 400, okay? That's what we're gonna do. And we wanna change from the title from being by tomatoes to what? Tick, tack, toe. That's how it is. Right? So remember, right here where it says program code goes here, right? Where's one? Tic tac toe here. All right, so we go in here now where it says program code goes here. All right, and we're gonna create a variable. Right, we're gonna create a variable. It's var, right? Var player turn. Right, so remember it's two players we have, right? Right, we have two players, right, guys? We have two players, right? So we're gonna instantiate player turn at 0, right? In computing language, the first number is 0, all right, not 1. First number is 0, all right? So you're gonna have to remember that, all right? Then what we're doing, remember how much columns and how much rows do we have? Let's see if I can click it. How much columns do we have? 1, 2, 3 columns. You see it? So, yeah, columns run down and then rows run this side like this. This is 1 row, 2 row, 3 row. You see it? So that's what we're gonna do next, right? We're gonna create the number of columns and the number of rows. So we do num column like that, num underscore COLS, right? So that's a short for columns, and we know we have 3 columns, right? And then we do the same var num row. Yeah. It's good if you want to keep the descriptions consistent, right? And num rows is ROWS. Right, so bear in mind that's caps, right? And that is equal to 3. I'm seeing it? So we created a variable for the player to remember test, right? So this variable is only going to be 0 or 1. Right? It's in computing, first number 0. Right? So the number of columns is how much runs up. So we have 3 running up. And the number of rows, right? So much running across. Right? That is to set up the tiles. We are beginning to program to set up the tiles exactly as it looks on the screen. Right? You ready, Sha?
So I said number.
Right, so guys, next step is the symbols. Remember in tic-tac-toe is what? X and an O, right? Right. So we're gonna set up the symbols. I'm gonna say var, and this one is the first time we're gonna see this, right? Symbols, and bear in mind that this has to be an array. So to program an array, we're using these hard brackets. This is what I describe as hard brackets. So if you look at how the brackets is shaped, right? See it? It's not curving, right? So those are called hard brackets. So you want to get your open and close hard bracket, right? And remember, each statement needs to be terminated by a semicolon, right? Now inside the hard brackets, guys, is where we're gonna put the 2 symbols, but the symbols are text on the screen. So we want to make them capital. So to put the first symbol, which is the X, we put capital X, right? Then to put the next element in the array, we're gonna make it capital 0. Capital O, right? Let's make it capital O, not 0. Right, so we have X and O. You all seeing that? For the 2 symbols. Yeah? All right, next step now is to create a variable for the tiles. So remember, how much tiles we're gonna have? 3 by 3, right? Essentially, we multiply these numbers. That's gonna give us the number of tiles, right? Yeah? Right, guys? Right, so if we do just that, so we say var tiles, right? We're gonna make that equal to a hard bracket, right? Like that. So remember, my equal sign looks really off, kind of, right? But bear in mind, it's not a dash, right? It's 2 of them, right? It's that really close and it's not right? How we use it, it's a next dash, right? So there's an equal sign, guys. So bear in mind that there is an equal sign, not a dash, okay? All right, so what we're doing here, we are instantiating a blank array. That array is blank. So that's what we call dynamic allocation, right? Meaning that it doesn't hold a fixed number of elements. We could put the elements in it as we go forward in the program, right? So is to create a function, right? So we're gonna go call this function check win. Check win. So this is the check to see who win. Right? We are to check to see who wins. We say player 1 win or player 2 win or however it goes, right? So we check win function is equal to, right? So remember we start with description function. That's how we know what a function is. And we have the open and close brackets. Then we open the curly bracket, close the curly bracket like that, right? So this function is a check who win, right? So at the end of it all, we're gonna come back and we're gonna say, okay, let's decide what we're gonna do, right? When someone wins. This is a check win function, right? All right, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna use a function to use the information above. What is information that we have above here? We're gonna write a function that's gonna call this information and put the tiles on the screen box. All right? So let's do that. We're going down. All right, so we're gonna say var, right? Tile, so T-I-L-E, right? And we're gonna say it's equal to, it's a function, guys, remember? Function, open and close regular brackets like that. You see it? Now what goes inside this function? This function is gonna accept 2 inputs. It's gonna accept X and Y inputs. Why is it gonna accept X and Y inputs? Because anything on a screen is 2-dimensional and always has 2 dimensions. So this dimension going across is called the X-axis, right guys? And this dimension going up is called the Y-axis. So whenever you click the mouse on the screen, if you click right here, right, there's a corresponding X location and a corresponding Y location for every point on the screen. All right? So that's why we put the X and Y, right? So we put X, Y, and then we're gonna define what the function does, right? By writing some code inside here, right? You all ready? So we're gonna indent. Who remember how to do indentation? Press tab. Press the tab key, right? That's how we do indentation. And we're gonna say this dot X, that same X on top, which is the input function, right? It's gonna be equal to X. Semicolon. We're gonna do same. This dot X, right? Just as how we do it on top, but we're doing it for Y now, is equal to Y, like that. You all see that, guys? And then we're gonna do this dot size, like that. And the size, guys, how are we gonna know what the size is? It's gonna be the width divided by the number of columns. Alright? So remember, you all haven't done that math as yet. Shreya might have been doing that math at high school. Right, Shreya? Alright, but for those of you, you're gonna get this math. Right? You're gonna understand this math a little better when you all get to see it. See, right? Alright, so we're gonna say is the width divided by the number of columns. Okay? So let's go ahead and type that. WIDTH divided by num column, right? Exactly how we spell it above. Should be caps. Num calls like that. Right? So that's gonna be the size. Whatever the width is divided by the number of columns that we have on top. Right? And then we're gonna create a label. We're gonna call the label this dot label. Remember, we had to press tab to get it to go in. So indent dot label, and we're gonna write, right? Just an empty quotation because we're not putting anything inside of it.
So
that's an empty quotation.
Press tab. All you have to do is go from the start of this and then press enter.
You're going back down, right? Very good. So if you press enter, you say that your screen, right, should take you right below. But it wouldn't work like that if you're using Notepad. He's using a more advanced program. That's why he has that luxury. We don't have that luxury. Right? You are using Notepad++. Right? But everybody has Notepad, regular Notepad. So we're using regular Notepad to code, right? So guys, we would have finished writing our function guys, to define the tiles, right? That's the set of the tiles, okay? All right, so let's see what is next. What is next is we have to create a function to draw the whole thing on the screen now. Remember, it's the drawing that's going to produce all these tiles, right? So let's see if we can. Huh? Yeah, yeah. So remember, it's draw, we draw like all these things on the screen. You remember that? Remember we draw the tomatoes and the smiley face and everything? Right. So now we're going to be writing the function to do the drawing, right? You all ready? So what we're going to say, remember, this function gonna call information in tiles, right? Yeah? So JavaScript has a unique way of doing that. And the unique way of doing that, we say tile, T-I-L-E, right? Yeah, which means it's using this variable tile, right? Right? And we're gonna define this function now by clicking dot. This is dot notation, so we're calling this function to operate on that variable tile on top, and we say prototype dot draw. That's it. And remember, this whole tile prototype dot draw is a function, right? So we're gonna write equal function. All right, guys, everybody there? And we open and close the bracket like that. All right? Then we're gonna have our open and close curly bracket. Don't forget to put the semicolon at the end of the curly bracket, right? We're not coming to the side. Right, so for those who still typing here, right? Everybody reach where I reach? Yeah. Oh, yeah? All right, so remember, programming is a lot of typing, right? So it's a part of this camp to get you all in that frame where you can type efficiently, right? All right, so here we're talking about this function that's going to operate on tile. Remember, we have a variable called tile, right? So this is called dot notation. Dot notation allows us to call a function to operate on that variable, right? All right. So let's see what is next. You're gonna click enter here, right? So remember, inside here is where we're gonna write our statements, right? What does that function do? Right here is where we're gonna write our statements to say what that function does. And that function is gonna fill the screen, the canvas, with the green color that we had. So the first thing we do is type fill, right? Right? And the green color that we have is 214, 247, 202. Right? That's the green color we have here. This green color.
Why we need that specific green color?
We don't need it. You want to do red instead?
No.
Right? You want to do a color change. You want to change color. Yeah? What do you like us? Alright, so I'm going to change the color on this side to red, right? 255, 0. Guys, I'm changing the color to red and let's see how it's going to look, right? So I'm going to go on this side. I'm going to.
If it looks good, I'll change it.
Right, control R. Look, it's red now.
Yeah, I changed it.
You like the red?
Yeah, I changed it.
You like the red? Right, so you all choose what color. I'm just saying to replicate the green that I have, right? That's how we would have to do it, right? We'll have to use that combination of the red, green, and blue colors. Alright? Right, so after we fill with the appropriate color, the next step, guys, is the thickness of the stroke. You all remember stroke weight from last session?
Yeah.
Stroke weight, right? This is the thickness of the stroke, right? And we're not going to make it too thick. We're just going to put it at 2. If we make it too thick, what's going to happen? You remember? Share. When you make the stroke too thick, what happened? You see how it get ridiculous, right? When the stroke was too thick, you remember? The whole drawing was messed up and it was showing on the screen. Look at that. The whole thing was just black, right? So guys, remember, you need to choose an appropriate stroke weight, right? So the thickness of these lines are not going to be too out, right? You see how thick it is? If we choose stroke weight greater than that, line will be thicker and thicker and thicker, right? We don't want it to be too thick. We want it to be appropriate, right? Yes, simple is very good as well. All right, so now we're going to create a rectangle. We're going to use rectangle. Remember the rectangle function. All right, so watch this. Remember, guys, remember this function, prototype that does draw, right, is calling the variable type. And the variable type is a function that has xy parameters inside of it. So we're going to use those same xy parameters in order to draw these styles on the screen, right? So let's do that. So we're gonna call the x parameter, which is this dot x, right? To set up the rectangle function. We're gonna call this dot y to set up the rectangle function, right? And then the other two parameters that goes into the rectangle function is the sizes of both of them. So we do this dot size and the same again, this dot size, right? And you all know where this is coming from. We're coming from right here. Right? So remember, this function is somehow connected to the variable type by a dot notation. And that's how we can pull all this information that is defined in type. Right? So that is going to set up for us. Right? The types here, right? But we ain't finished yet. There's one last parameter. And then last parameter defines how these little boxes are being made, right? So we choose it 10, and remember to put your semicolon, right? Next thing we need is the size of the text. So when we click on the screen, the text that comes, right? The text has a certain size, also. When we click, and we see we get a X or we get a O, right? You see the text has a certain size, right? Right, so now we need to define the size of the text. So we put text size to, right, so remember this is a capital, right? Text size to 100. You're seeing that? That's how we start. We put text size to 100. Yeah? So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to experiment a bit. If we put the stroke weight to a ridiculous, what was it, 3 and 10? Share, you had put 10, right? Check this out. Look how thick it is now. Ah! It looks horrible, right?
No, I don't know too bad.
You don't look too bad? But you all like this stick? Like this one, sir? Yeah, I like that. Huh? Alright, I'm gonna make it a little thicker. And let's see at what point does it get disgusting, right?
Put that really on.
I put it at 20. Alright, so I'm just gonna put it at 20 and reload the screen. Look at that. Oh, it looks as good as it was before, right? And I find the red too bright. Yeah, the red too bright, right? So it's not so nice. You mean lighter by adding the other colors, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna put 100 on each of the other colors, the green and the blue, right? And let's see how that's gonna affect, right, the outputs. All right, so you see, it's a little bit lighter now. Yeah, now it's a little bit easier on the eyes, isn't it?
It looks like a dinosaur TV show.
All right, so guys, when you are writing the game, you all have the power in your hand 100% to define how it looks. Is either it's going to be really, really attractive. In some games, horrible. In the bowl look good. And there's other games that look really, really good, right? So the developer is insightful. And they wrote the code to explicitly provide all the details to capture the person who is playing the game, right? So you all getting to appreciate this, right? So the next step, guys, is after we define the size of the text. If the text is too small, what will happen? Right, so I'm gonna do half the original size. I'm gonna do half of 100, and we're gonna see what happens to the text, right? So remember, guys, we have to choose these parameters appropriately, right? Everyone? Look at that. You see the text not so big now? It's half of the original size. So remember, guys, we don't want it to be too tiny, right? We want it to be attractive, right? So what if we put it at about 30 instead? All right, let's see what's going to happen to the size of the text on the screen. Let's see. Look how small it is now. You see it's even smaller. All right. So any 100 was good? The original 100 that we had, right? So we're going to put it back. Let's not make it so big. We're going to do 80 instead. All right, we're going to try 80 and we're going to see how great 80 is. You see? 80 is really good, right? Yeah, because we already have these lines very big. Right? So we don't want the X to be too big. Right? We want to be able to distinguish each time, right, guys? Right? What's going on? You following us? You try? Yeah. All right. So we continue. All right. So watch what's going on. All right. So you all get the idea of how important these parameters are. Said no. You have this. You reach here or we type it on the code? Yes. Tell me which one you reach. It's still on top here somewhere. You wrote this one already? Check win. You wrote that one already? Huh? All right, guys, I forgot to put my semicolon. Make sure you have the semicolon, right? After you check win, make sure you have the semicolon, right? Yeah. All right, so as we have it here, guys, right? Now, it have a flash drive. I'll sort them out. It have a flash drive in our bag. Alright, so here now, guys, we just define the size of the text. Right, the next thing we need to do is to align the text to the screen. Did you remember those X's in the center, right? So this is the code that we write to explicitly state must be in the center. So we do a text align. You all remember this? You all wrote this before. Text align, and the alignment must be center for both, right? Center. You're not easy. And the first one is center, right? That's it. Center, center. And then what we want to do? Put the semicolon, right? Remember each statement has. Right. All right. So last but not least is we need text. We need text again, and that text is going to be set in the center of the boxes, right? As we just put the alignment there. Now remember, which color is black? How do we get black? We use fill, 0, 0, 0. That's it. That's black, right? So that is what's setting it to black. The fill to black, so there's no filling in between, right? And then we write text. All right, this one is a little tedious. Remember, we're using the label on top, right? What the label is gonna be? What do you think the label is gonna be? Right, the label is gonna be the X that goes inside, or the, right? The O that goes inside, right? So that is what we're gonna use now, the labels. We're gonna use the labels here now to label each. Every time we touch it, it gets a label with that X or, right, or O, right? Which one? Equals, okay? Good. 0, 0, 0. All right, so we have this line. All right, which is the text. We're using this dot label handle that we created on top. So using this dot label like that. Don't see it, guys. Right, and then we use the next one now. This dot x, because remember it's our location that we're clicking.
This not I, this not Y.
Yeah, because you go ahead from what you're seeing it. Don't do that. Okay? So this dot x plus this dot size, right? Now remember, all these parameters are defined where? In tile, right? So that's where we're getting it from. This dot x plus this dot size, and we're dividing the whole thing by 2. Right? Next one is this dot y, and we're gonna this dot size, we're gonna add that to it as well. Right? And the whole thing we divided by 2. Right? That's what tells us how to explicitly write the text as a label when we click a box. Every time we click a box, the X or the O are going to go inside of there, right? And we are explicitly, right, setting up how that text is going to go inside that box. Right? Fill is black, remember, guys, right? All right, that's it. Now, we want, when the box is empty, right? When the box is empty, what does go on when the box is empty? There's nothing inside here, right? So we had to click the box for something to go in, right? Yeah? So when the box is empty, guys, we have to create a function for that. So we're gonna do var. All right, we're gonna use the same notation we have on top, right? So we do tile dot prototype, yeah. And this one is the empty one now. So the one on top is draw, and this one we use it down here is empty. Dot empty, right? Everybody see that? Tile dot prototype dot empty, and it's gonna be set to, remember it's a function, right? So we write function, we have open and close bracket, then we have the open curly bracket, close curly bracket. Don't forget to put here semicolon, right? Everybody reach here?
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, baby. Crap. What's going on? Stop doing that. Everybody catch up. Everybody catch up to where we are. Nobody. Everybody right here? What we do when the tile is empty? We create a function. For that scenario, when the tile is empty, right? Alright guys, so everybody is now up to date and at the same place on the screen. Alright? what it is, can't say the Lord didn't write the game for himself, right? Right? So that is what is important here, guys. Right? That you all do this for yourself.
Oh my God, it was great.
You're not done. Okay? All right. So you have a lot more fun of coding, right? And watching your game actually work. So everybody should be here, right? So what we're gonna do now is press enter to get it to go down. So we have some space in between here. We're gonna write what the function does. And all we wanted to do is to return an empty label. So we're gonna write return and this dot label on top. Right? And this dot label, right? It's just gonna be an empty thing. So 3 equal signs, right? That's what it's gonna be. Just empty, just like that. So return this dot label and it's gonna be empty. You're seeing that? Alright, so that's what we do when the tile is empty. When the tile is empty, there should be no label. The label should be empty. So that's what this code is saying here. Alright? Next step is when we click on that tile now, we need a function that explicitly identifies where we click and then identify that this tile needs to be labeled with an X or label it with an O. You all ready? You ready for that one? Everybody here?
Right here. Yeah.
I know you're running ahead, right?
I went to focus. No, I right here.
Yeah, very good. All right. So you had to learn what each thing does, right? So remember, tile is what we're clicking, right? Yeah, is the tiles we're clicking, right? These tiles in the back here, is the tiles we're clicking. So every time we click a tile, the mouse click must identify which tile we're clicking on, and then we must choose to label it with either a O or an X. So that's what this function, we're defining, this function is going to be responsible for doing that, right? So, tile, you see it guys? Dot prototype, right? And we're going to call this one on click. So anytime you click the tile, something's going to happen. So this is on click, right? So the naming convention, right, help us to identify what the function is doing. So tile.prototype on click. So when you click, right, this is a function that's going to do something on the screen every time we click that tile, right? You're seeing it? Don't forget to put the semicolon after, right? And then everybody now, click the tab, and then you're going to send to the screen. So, if the tile is not empty, right? So we're going to write if, and this is the condition we're checking to see, right? If the tile is not empty. So if we have something that is empty and we say not empty, it means that the explanation is supposed to be, right? Check it out. Empty. Then we define that. Okay. Yeah. This is not empty. Right? So you put the exclamation mark, you say this not empty, right guys? And remember, that's a function. This is a function. Empty is a function. If you want to call empty function on using this dot notation, we have to put the open and close bracket, right? So let's put the open and close bracket like that. That's it. Yeah? And remember, it does nothing, right? Because we are clicking a tile, it's empty, it stay empty, right? So we have open and close curly bracket like that, right? Just like that. No, guys, with the if statements, for the if statements, we do not put a semicolon. There's no semicolon that goes at the end of the if statement, right? So we're gonna just click enter and we're gonna leave that like this, right? Alright, so if the tile is not empty, we exit. That's all we do. Right? Next is what if, All right, so we have to put the player symbol on the tile, right? So the X or the O. So that's what we have to do now. So to put the symbol, we're using the label, this dot label. Remember, guys, we have a this dot label on top, and we're choosing from the symbols that we have. So symbols is what we call it on top. Let's go back up and look at the array. The array was called symbols, right? And it has two. It have an X and an O, right? So there's two choice of symbols. So this dot label is equal to symbols, and that symbol is defined by the who? The person who playing. The player's turn. If it's the first person or if it's the second person, right? So we're gonna put player turn inside it. And it must be exactly as we spelled it on top. Remember, it's hard brackets, guys. Hard brackets because symbols on top was defined, right, as an array with hard brackets, right? Symbols, exactly how we spell it here. And player turn must be exactly how we spelled it on top, right? So all that information is what we're using here. Same as we spell symbols on top, same as we spell player turn on top. That's it. All right? Any questions on this one? Everybody understand this? This dot label is equal. We're choosing our label. It's only two possible labels, X or O, right? So this is how we choose our label. We're choosing our label, right? Yeah. That's it. What percentage did you go on and somebody else? Okay, right. So we go to that. Where's it go? Yeah, look. So yeah. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, so that's a short one, right? All right, guys. Yeah, something wrong with the exception. So that's why you just kind of drop the screen. Just yeah, somewhere wrong with it. So everything should be back up in a second. Right. Again? I think so. A little bit more. A little bit more time. All right, guys. So let me make sure that I'm on the correct screen. Yes, I am. Right. All right, so we're going across, right? So remember, we just finished writing here, and we're missing a semicolon, so we want to put the semicolon like that, right? Then the next step, right? So remember, we have the this dot label, right? The next step, guys, we're writing inside it. This all is coming under the prototype that on click, right? So the next step is to change the player's turn. Every time you get to play on the expo on the screen, then the player must change the Shreya, right? So now the number changed, so we can put an O on the screen instead, right? So this is what we call incrementation. So player turn is gonna increment to the next value. And to do that, we just put 2+ like that, right? So this is called incrementation. This is possibly one of the most important facets in all programming. You are going to use this, right? Incrementation, right? Okay, so if you start from 0 and then increment, plus, it goes to 1. Then increment again, then goes to 2, right? All right? So that's what that incrementation does, right? It increases the value by 1 each instance. It's like we counted, starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So that's how we counted programs, right? We use incrementation, okay? All right, so we increment the player, so the player changes now, and what we want to do is change back the player. So remember, when it goes to Shreya, then it's gonna come back to Christiansen again, right? Right? So we want to set it back to, right? So when 0 is Christiansen, 1 is Shreya. So when it goes to 1, it will come back to 0. So to get it to come back to 0 is what we have to coordinates, right? So this is what we do. We say if player, watch it guys, if player turn is greater than or equal to, greater than or equal sign, don't forget, right? Symbols dot length, symbols, right? Symbols dot length, right? And let's do this in common letters. Right? See, okay, guys. If player turn is greater than the length of symbols, remember symbols is an array that has X or O, right? X or O. Only 2 things, right? Yes? Only 2 things, right? So player turn cannot be greater than. Right. To replicate what you do on paper or the computer, this is as much it takes. But you all don't even see the work that was done before this. First of all, learn the computer, take 100 years to learn the computer. Right? To get to where it is now. And then guys, it literally took like 6 decades of programming to advance so that you all get JavaScript. And it took even the next 5 to 10 years for them to develop the libraries for JavaScript to give us the tools to draw the rectangles and all this kind of thing and all that, right? So every time you write code and you have the luxury of playing a game on your computer, playing a game on your phone, somebody did the hard work. All right? Somebody did the hard work. You know what? You guys need to be the next set of people doing the hard work and getting paid the millions of dollars for doing the hard work. So you could get one app. You write the code for 1 game and they put it on the App Store. You could sell it for 99 cents. But 1 billion people have a phone. So if 1 billion people buy it for 99 cents. How much money you have? Very much so. Very close to $1 billion, because if you sell it for 99 cents, everybody could afford it, right? You sell it for 99 cents. That's like $1, right? A cent short of $1. And $1 billion people buy it. Guess what? $1 billion. You see what we're doing? Sell for $1, then they get the billion for sure. Well, right, look at that. You can buy 5 Summit computers with that. Right? Remember the fastest computer in the world is called the Summit? $200 million, right? Right. So you all sell it for $1. What a game, eh? Only write the game and put it on the App Store. Right? So guys, you all have to be the minds behind the next generation of technology and the next generation of entertainment. So the Grand Theft Auto, who know that game? You're playing it. Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto is done by a large team. That team is about 60 people. Had to work on that one game alone. And that 60 people alone didn't do the work. There's work that was done outside of the team. Right? They had a contract on a studio to do something else, right? Yeah? So guys, you all getting first hand, right? Understanding that this requires work, right? Yeah? And you have to be devoted and dedicated to what you're doing. That's how you earn the rewards. I can't imagine the type of games that you are going to make in the future, right? So some people going to come out, we have a hologram in front of you. Hologram. You have a hologram in front of you here from the watch. The watch is projecting on hologram, right? And you know, you all have to write the game for that hologram. So now you're playing the game with your finger. And the hologram is right in front of you. Right. And you're all going to be that generation that's going to be the intellectual capital, the brains behind coding those games. All right? You all see what's going on? You all are the future, right? Now, just requires a little hand, right? So we almost finished, guys. So we say if the player turn is greater than the length of the array called symbols, remember? Symbols array have 2 members. Right? So it's only one of 2, right? So it can't be greater than 2. All right? So if we check in to see if it is greater than or equal to, and what we want to do, we want to set it back at 0. That's all we need to do. So we want to set it back at 0. We're going to say player turn is equal to 0. So every time player turn, right, goes to 2, it's automatically set back to 0. Right? So remember that is a semicolon, right? Sorry. And that's it. Right? Right? So far, we have done a lot to achieve what we're doing here now, right? But the magic really happens when you finish writing it and you save it and you click on it and you can play your game. That's when the magic really happens. All right? So the next step, right, is the mouse clicking. Right? The mouse returns what we call coordinates to the screen. Okay? And we're going to use, every time we click the mouse, we're going to use the information about where is the mouse clicking on the screen in order, right, to make the game interactive. Okay? So the next thing is on the tiles. This is what we're operating. So we're still operating on the tiles, right? So we're gonna go here now. So remember, we just finished that player turn equals 0. We just finished that one, right? And then we have this one on the end here, and then we need to go below that, right? Because this one was for prototype empty. That's what it was for, right? So this was for the mouse click. Everything that happens with the mouse click, right? That's what this was for. All right, so now we need to go ahead and create a new function to operate on tiles again. So tile.prototype. You're seeing that? And this is called the handle mouse click. Handle mouse click. That's what we're calling it, right? Handle mouse click. And we set it equal to function. Same function, x and y, right? It's going to accept x and y values, right? So we have the open and close curly brackets, and don't forget to put the semicolon. And we go into this space here and we click enter, right? That's how we get it to roll down. So when it rolls down now, we have this little space inside here to type our code, right? Now, watch this. If we click outside of the box, nothing not gonna happen. Look at this. I'm clicking outside the box. Nothing is supposed to happen. If I click on the side here, you see what happens? It changes. If I click on this side here, what happens? The other one change. If I click further inside, what happens? This one changes, you see it? If I click further to the side. So you can see what's gonna happen, right? Depending on where I'm clicking, it's gonna choose which one to change, right? You see it? So it's a kind of precision control thing that we need to know precisely what information is coming from the mouse. We need to know precisely where is the mouse clicking on the screen. So we're going to write a function, right? That function is going to handle the mouse clicking first, right? So that we know precisely where we're clicking and we know precisely where to put the label of the X and the O. Ready? All right, so we're going back to the code, right? Going too fast? Right? Everybody reach here?
Yes, I reached it. I finished it. I finished.
Exactly where I am? Huh? Reach? Right, reach. I'm gonna walk around with my flash drive and bring everybody up to speed, right?
These good people. It is fast.
Yeah, but look at the real time. Almost finished. Go ahead. Almost finished. Did you finish it? Why did they continue that? So everybody, almost finished. Coding and tick. Right? You're almost finished. Right? So almost. You have a few more lines inside for me, right? So here it is. The mouse click. We want to make sure that the mouse click is exactly where we need it to be on the screen, right? So we say if, remember, if looks like that, and this is the argument. We're checking to see if x is greater than or equal to this dot x. This dot x was defined in time. And at the same time, this is called a logic operator. So if we say Christiansen is 8 and share is 10, right? Then we put something on the screen for both of them. So we're checking to make sure that both conditions are met at the same time. Right, so we put the double and, this is an operator. We're checking to see if it's less than or equal to this dot x plus this dot size. This is exactly how we code it on top here, guys. Right? This dot x dot this dot size. Okay? You all see it? So we're checking to see if it greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, right? Plus. Right, we can put some space in between here so we can read it properly, right? Do I put a space? Right, so the next thing we need to do, sorry guys, the plus. Right, next thing we need to do, after we have this dot size, we need to put the AND operator again. Two AND operators like that. Right? And we're doing for y now. Same thing we do for x, we're doing for y now. So we're saying, we're checking if y is greater than or equal to this dot y, and at the same time, so we have double AND operator, we checking to make sure that y is less than or equal to this dot y plus this dot size. Voila, that's it. And we can close the bracket now, right? Like that. Voila. Last but not least is to call the function. You ready? So click enter. So we have the open and close bracket right and inside here. This on click. That's what we need. Voila. This on click and is a function. Right? So remember, guys, every time that this condition is evaluated, when we click the mouse, we call what? On-click function. On-click function is this one here. That checks the player's turn, set the label, increment the player turn, right? And set back the player turn to 0. And then this one on top now, then what? Draw everything on the screen for us. Every time we click. All these things happening. Every time we click, right? Hundred for Texans. So after you all finish writing your first game, you're gonna save that on your system and you can go home and play with your friends. Yay! I will send it for you, right? I will send it for you. So you look to put it on the computer, right? I will send it for you. But right, that's what you guys are gonna be doing next. Right? All right, guys. So Thursday and Friday, you're gonna be building websites. Yeah. To do anything, you're gonna learn how to build a website from scratch. Right? You just want to have Google right through. You want to have Google right through. Google listen to you. Google listening that you want to hack them. That's it, you finished? Alright, that's what we're talking about. Alright, so guys, we have a few more things to do and then we're done. Very wrong, Sebastian. That's okay. Alright, so if you all try to load the game at this point, we have to finish writing the game so it wouldn't work. So when you finish writing and all the code is immaculate, and we open that web page, it's gonna come. Alright, so ready now? We finish with the handle mouse click function. Alright, we finish with the handle mouse click function. Next thing we have to do now, guys, which is second to last, is create a for loop to change, right, based on the number of columns that we have. So suppose I tell you that this same game that we're coding now, we just want to change 2 things, and all of a sudden 3 people can play, 4 people can play, 5 people can play, just by changing a few things. All right, let me show you how I want to do that, right? So to change the number of players, what we have to do? Change the number of columns, right? So we're going to put it at 4 by 4, right? 4 by 4. And what we're going to do? We're going to put our next thing there now. So instead of an X and an O alone, we put in our next thing. X and O and what else? You all choose. Z? Z, right? So we put in a Z, like that.
A Z?
Right, a Z. Just Z. That's it. Right? And just by making this change, all of a sudden, 3 people could play now. So we are developing, right, the game so that if more people want to play, all the code is already written. You just have to make that change alone, and more people can play, just like that. Period. Yeah? That is how we develop the code, so that and any number of people can play. We just have to change those 2 things. Any number. Yeah. At some point in time, it's gonna get ridiculous. Right? Look at that. So look at it now. X, O, and 1. Z. See it? See it? Just by changing. That's how we develop the game. We are coding everything that the infrastructure is there. If 3 people want to play, if 4 people want to play, we already wrote all that code. So all you have to do is use the code by changing these values. The whole alphabet? That would be 26 people playing. Well, the alphabet also includes symbols. And there's too much symbols. I'm not sure. I don't know how much symbols there are. Alright? So check all the symbols on the keyboard. So we could even use symbols too, right? Alright, so remember, after we press X, O, and Z, what coming back? X coming back now, right? Look, X again, you see it? And then O again, then Z, then X, then O, then Z, then X, then O. Right? So any number of people can play. So this is the code that we're writing now. To structure so that more people could play free image, right? So we're going back to the code, guys. Right? And right, we're gonna put that in now. Okay. Right, so check it out. Right? Here's where we need to type the for loop, right? We're gonna say, and we're gonna say for var equal 1. So we just sorry, we're starting at 0. In computing, where do we start counting from? 1 or 0? In computing, where do we start counting from? 1 or 0? 0. Very good. In real life, somebody say, how much computers on the table? We start counting. In real life, they start counting from 1. We call that natural numbers. But in computing, start counting. Okay? Alright, so watch. So var is equal to 0, comma, right? And exactly what we use for loops across programming paradigms, right? So we're using I, right? So instead of I, people use K and they use J, which is symbolic of the 3 axes of dimensions in space. You're going to learn all these things in physics or whatever, right? Okay? And mathematics. Like pure maths. When you get to 6th form, you're going to do this kind of math, right? Where J, K, and I are unit vectors along each axis of 3D space. You're going to learn to do that, right? When you get to 6th form. Right? So this is where that is coming from. Most times we use I, J, or K, right? Guys, so we use an I, right? And we say less than, you're saying that? Num calls, so the number of columns that we have, right? And what we're doing, we're incrementing I. So we click for the I and put the plus plus, just like that. So the I is going to increment for itself. And while that is happening, we're using our next for loop again. So let's tab it in, right? So you see for every time I, J, and K. So we use I already, we got to use J now, right? So var J, right? You are seeing that, guys? No space here. We're removing that space. We want everything to be readable. So var J is equal to, wait. You're seeing the equal signs coming out very nice on it. This one comes so nice, this one comes nice, this one comes out very nice. I'm not sure what's going on with this one, but it's something with the projector, right? It's a really old model projector, right? So we might have had this. Yes, an old model projector. It's not a new one, right? So we're starting var to be 0, right? And what are we doing? Less than number of rows now. Num rows. So remember it's column and rows? All remember that? Column and rows, and what we doing? Incrementing the J. So we incrementing the J with the plus plus like that. You all see that? So we have an open and close curly bracket. And this is the math that we're gonna do now. You all ready for that math?
No.
You have to do some math.
I think you have to do 3 years. Why are you going forward to form 3 or 0?
All right, guys, settle down, right? Because we have to finish doing this game in order to complete today. We have a few minutes again, right? So let's settle down and let's finish. And you're gonna play it on your computer, and you're gonna say what? I wrote the game for myself. You'll write the game for yourself. All right, ready, guys? Tiles dot push And what we're pushing is new tile, T-I-L-E, not title, T-I-L-E, right? I multiply by, so this is the math we're doing. I multiplied by the width divided by the number of columns. You remember this? And we're subtracting 1 from that, minus 1. That's it. And then we have a comma. Then we're multiplying j now by the same thing, j by num rows this time, right? Multiplied by the height time divided by the number of rows, right? Yeah, and we gotta subtract 1, right? So you're gonna learn how to do all this math we're doing here by the time you all get this, right? All right, so watch this, guys. Check this out. So we open a bracket, we must close the bracket here, right? Open a bracket, we must close the bracket. This open bracket, this is not closed bracket. So you're gonna close that one. Ready? All right, so we just close that second one there.
Yeah, but two close brackets.
Yeah, that's why. That's what we need. Right? Now, something else, missing a bracket now. Yeah? So every time we open a bracket, we must close the bracket, right? So let's see. Here we open bracket, yeah? That's the first one. Right? We open here, we close here. Open, right? Open here. Yes, this one is not closed now. Right? You see it, guys? So open, close. Yeah? Open, close. Open, close. So this one is not closed now, right? So we have to put our next bracket again. Ready? Put our next close bracket. So there's 3 close brackets following each other. And I will show you them. You all ready? Open bracket, close bracket. 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 You see that? Every time we have an open bracket, we have to close it, right? Right, so it can be a little difficult to follow. But when you finish writing that, hit the semicolon.
Done?
Huh?
Done?
Yeah, that is as far as the statement. But we ain't finished writing the code yet. We have one more thing to do. Just one more thing. Only one more thing. We have only one more thing, guys. Alright, now watch this, guys. Watch this, right? We need to close curly bracket. So we have an open curly bracket here. So we need a closed curly bracket here. We have an open curly bracket here. Right, so we need a closed curly bracket here. You all see that? It's 4 loops, so we do not put semicolons. None of them get semicolon. Only statements get semicolon, like this statement here gets a semicolon, right? But the brackets, after the curly brackets, no semicolon, right? So last but not least, var draw tiles, and this is a function, right? Right, remember we explicitly specify what functions are and what they do. So we put a semicolon. There is a hyphen. It's called a hyphen, which is to the left of the 0. So just press it 1 time. Press it 1 time. Subtract. Subtraction sign. Just press it once. Alright guys, so we're almost done, right? We're almost done. So we need a for loop inside here again. So we say for, right guys? Var I. Now remember, these i's is separate from the other i's. So the var i's in tiles. Right? Var i's in and tiles. In tiles like that. Sorry, I spelled it wrong. Right, var I in tiles. What happened? We need to open and close curly bracket, right? But remember, this is a for loop. So we do not need a semicolon at the end, right? There's a for loop. We don't need a semicolon. So we click enter to get it to go down. And inside here, we're going to type our statement. And our statement must have a semicolon. So we do tiles, right guys? Hard bracket, right? We're using I inside the hard bracket. Same I we talk about on top. And dot draw. We're using dot notation to call the draw function. Remember, a draw function on top here, guys, is dot notation, right? And then, since it's a function, you need to put the open and close bracket. Anybody reach there?
Yeah, I understand. Why do you want to see something the exact same?
Right, so if you reach here, right? Yeah. We are almost finished. Almost finished. Oh, I thought you know late. Remember the game requires all that, you guys. Objection to? Objection overruled. All right? Objection overruled. Okay? All right, so how much words? This much food. Are we done? Are we done after, right? So ready, let's go. Let's go. So we're gonna finish up quickly, right? Because time is of the essence. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna write everything on the body. Right between here is where we need it, right? Right? So we need two more functions. First one is mouse release. Mouse release. Right? Function. Alright guys, you all doing this? And we need a colon at the end because it's a function. And inside here, we're gonna write a for loop. So we're gonna say for var I enters open and close curly bracket, guys. And inside here, we write in the statement tiles hard bracket I dot handle mouse click handle mouse click, and we're using the position of the X on the cursor and the mouse Y position, right? So the mouse returns those locations, mouse X, mouse Y, right? That's what's going on. Just like that. And then the last thing we have to do, guys, right, is the draw function for the background and the tiles, right? So we do draw equals function, right? Remember, we need a semicolon at the end of the curly bracket for the draw function. Right? Now, you all can see the screen, so I know you all can write it. Right? And here we set in the background. Background to a fancy color. 143, 143, 143. So that's not exactly white, but we could call that beige or gray if you wish. And then last but not least, your last. This is the last thing that we have to do. Right? Call draw tiles. That's all we have to do. Right? We're gonna call this function and that's it. We are done. Done. So we go ahead and save it. Right? And when we reload, we have our game. Right? Everybody see it? Now remember, we don't need 4 players, right? I'm gonna change it back to 2 players alone. So we're gonna do a 3 by 3. Right, we only need 2 players, right? Start saving it. Back to 2 players. Right, only 2 players you need, right? Ta-da. Right? I never exactly like you guys, but you guys think I think you're like. So remember, all of this is being done on canvas. Everybody finish again? You have to save it and then you have one game. Alright, that's the code here, guys. Alright, so when I run and correct it, everybody thinks. So if it don't work, you make a mistake. So I'm coming to see. You see what I mean?
So I have no mistakes.
Yeah. That's why you don't see it, because we far faster. Right? So I'm gonna scroll up just a little more so that you guys can see some other stuff.
Emotional damage.
That's it, yeah. Right, so you guys can see that. Yeah? Yeah, this one. You see, all you're so close to completing all the game, all you're so close to finish time with the game, before for the game, all you're right here, right here, right here. Right, all you're right here, almost finished for the game this time, right? All right, all you just type the last few lines of code and it's done. All right, everybody. Type the last few lines of code and it's done. Okay? Right, if you want to be a programmer, that's what you have to do. Lazy? That's you get lazy, you actually will do it. Come, finish that. Come. Hey, the enjoyment comes after you finish doing work, and then you actually work it well. Look, I write every single line of this game. I put this game, and look, you're gonna enjoy it. And you play when you get home with your friend. Alright, come to Bob Sebastian, go away. Up for the up like this. Huh? Sebastian. But you was here with Sebastian here, so you reached Sebastian. Alright, so tomorrow. Yes, sir. Alright, so who finished? Who finished? Anyone who finished? I Right, so 2189. That's how much it is here. Go like this. Right, so remember coming around and see where you want to make the mistake, right? Alright, who's next, yeah? Side finish? Finish? And right here, on the next up. Actually, I need to go. Look, this function is close. Yeah, close. We have this one. Remember guys, when you enjoy the game, someone did the hard work. Right? When you enjoy the game, someone did the hard work, right? And you all have to, right? That's all. Right? So you all have to be the brain now. You all have to be close to the code, right? Right? That's what we are about. You all want to write the code now. Okay? Right? Yeah. Right? You want to be great. Right? You want to be great. Alright guys, so we're gonna finish remember this save it. And yeah, refresh your web page. Alright, and then you're gonna come. Alright, so you all put yourself a well-deserved break. Alright, now wait till the same person. Wait till the same person gonna be the only person who get it right. You know me helping out. Yeah. See? Alright, so you all finished coding your first game, right? You all played the game as yet? Alright, so guys, it's important that I also teach you all hard work, right? Right? It's important, it's imperative that I teach you guys hard work. You see, everybody who done the hard work, almost finish it, almost make them $1 million. And you go. Right? Remember, one game. All you need is one game. Make a regular game, make a regular software. Right, guys? You all can make who know virtual DJ? Virtual DJ. Anyone knows about that? Alright, what about the piano app? To play the piano. Somebody did the hard work for that. What if you was that person? Right? Everybody did the piano app. Right? So guys, remember, right, that it's not gonna be exactly easy. But you can make it easy for yourself. Why? Because you're gonna master this. You're gonna master, right? Writing code. Okay? Making your life easy. Okay, guys? Alright. You all earn yourself a well-deserved break to go and tell your parents that you wrote your whole game today. Alright? Have a wonderful and blessed rest of the day, guys. Go get your refreshments and your snacks. Sebastian? The last function? The background? Right here? The mouse clicks? That's it.
Yeah. Send this to anybody.
Send anybody. Yeah, they send anybody. Right, do the work, right?
What work? We have homework?
Actually, they're going to be following us at home, right? Friday. It's going to be online. It's going to be